Yes, so
Yep,
everyone, it's Ada from Poison Rock, and I have the pleasure for the first time to have with me Marco from The Haunted. First of all, I was going, Marco.
it's good. It's good, really good. I'm actually trying to recover from a cold, and we have production rehearsals starting tomorrow,
Oh,
which is yeah. So I'm pretty
oh, oh,
not
oh.
excited about it because I have my
Okay.
throat is sore and yeah. So we just have to see. But
Yeah,
I don't need to rehearse as much as everybody else.
why so? Like the other has to suffer more than me. I can stand a corner
Yeah,
and say, hello, have fun.
yeah. I show up with a like sunglasses and a cup of coffee and start complaining.
That's the best way. Thank you for
Yeah,
giving me. You gave me kind of a way to show up at work tomorrow, like
yeah,
something like that. Bye, see you soon. But
yeah.
of
Start
course,
criticizing everybody.
yeah, in my mind, because if I start to criticize people in real life, like in my office, they will go
Yeah.
away because I'm a therapist. Imagine you come to me, oh, then you
Ah,
have
okay,
a
okay.
problem. That's got bad.
Yeah,
But of course, Mark, I mean, of course, people know the haunted. They know, of course, all the change of lineup, story, album. We don't want to focus in whatever happened on the past album because I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
like that. I do that if it's a new band, but it's a big band, so we don't need to do that. So we can
yeah,
mainly
yeah,
focus on the last two albums, but for also for people to get to know better the soul of the haunted today and also the writing and the composition of the album. I think it's important to get to know your own personal story as a musician and as a kid. So who was Marco before the haunted when he was just a toddler, a kiddo running away from home? But the first album you pick up, when you decide to just jump into the music scene and say, this is time for be serious.
the thing is that when I was young, I was a pretty wild child with a lot of problems and
Wow.
a lot of anger. So I actually started a band because I had friends that played music, and I thought they were
Okay.
really, really corny with their hair bands and stuff.
Was that her
And I
head metal?
listened, no, because I listened to hardcore and punk rock, and
Okay.
so I started a punk rock band, and I started out as a singer, but everybody thought it sounded like shit, so they told me to play the drums instead.
Okay.
I played the drums. I played the drums until I joined the army back in 1990
Okay.
because I needed the army in my life because I needed discipline in my life.
Sometimes,
So,
that's the only
but
thing.
then when I got out of the army and we had this old bomb shelter that we had as a rehearsal room. We had like 5 or 6 bands in there, and every weekend we put like bands together we had this party. We had parties like Friday and Saturday,
In the bomb
and
shelter.
we had a
Yeah.
small stage in there. So we put bands together
That's cool though.
just for the night, and we did like AC/DC covers and stuff. And I tried out singing for the first time
After.
during those nights,
Okay.
and that's when I realized that this standing in front of everybody, this is
Did you
kind of
like
fun.
it?
Yeah. So
Did you like it?
even though I have a really big problem with people,
Okay.
I really enjoyed it because there was a connection but a distance.
Yeah.
I had my
People not
personal
together.
space, but
Of course.
still. So yeah, that's when I tried it out. And the funny thing about all those bands that they were playing like hair metal, hard rock, and all that shit, and they were making so much fun of all my bands that I had.
Wow.
Like I had Slayer cover band, we had hardcore bands, punk rock bands, and blah blah blah. And they made so much fun out of me for having those bands because they just didn't understand the music. And now look at them. They work in a convenience store and stuff, and I'm out here doing what I love to do. So
That's
yeah,
karma. I mean, I don't want to be on rule that respect everyone, but it's called karma.
yeah, it is. It is.
That's it.
And so yeah, that's when I tried it for the first time, and I really really enjoyed it. And then I got in touch with a few guys that I'd never met before, but they had a band together, and they heard about me and that I was pretty crazy, and also heard that I could sing. So I joined a band called Face Down at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and after Face Down, I got invited to audition for The Haunted back in '99, and
Yeah,
then I was in the band for
quite a while. Yeah.
yeah until 2003 when I understood that I took the whole rock and roll lifestyle a bit too serious.
I mean,
So I had to stop.
that sometimes you did something that was for yourself, for your
Yeah, it was actually my wife that said that either the
good woman.
yeah, but either the drugs and alcohol stay and we leave, or we stay and everybody else has to go. So
Yeah,
it wasn't a hard decision actually. So
yeah, but then you just rejoined.
I've been drug free since 2003.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I mean, sometimes people just forget of like alcohol or something that is just not easy to do, you know, just forget about that because it's just the fun or everything. And all my, you know, people of my age now, because I'm closer to the 40. So I'm from this 80s. Okay.
I'm way past that.
Okay. So when I was young, so now when I have 20 years old friends, something like that, they are like, oh, why don't you drink? I said, I quit. I was having a bad thing with alcohol, but I quit it when I was 23 years old. And I sometimes stopped to think about it. Said, how did I did all my 20s, most of my 20s going out, go to the live show, and I quit drinking because I had to. Because I remember the doctor said, or you quit or your liver is going to have a problem. Said, okay. And I said this time, I stepped back from the music, everything, because sometimes you have to step back, take your time, clear your mind, take care of yourself, and
get a good perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And I think your wife has a big part in it. So
yeah, definitely. She suffered a lot during the years.
She must be an amazing one because it's not easy. But of course,
sorry.
It also showed that you had the strength to come over through all these, and you know, because you had a gigantic, let's say, curriculum.
Yeah.
Music. I mean, you weren't like, you know, just rehearsing in your room. You had an experience already with bands, with the crowds, with rehearsal room, and also with a more professional band.
Yeah.
So, from our perspective, you wouldn't be like prefer sometimes that Haunted were like performing in a kind of bombshell, like you know, like these raw places, or you actually like today the big stage?
I actually still prefer the smaller places because that's where the energy is. Because there's a disconnect when you're standing on a festival stage and there's 20-30,000 people. There's a big ditch. We could be like 6 meters.
Yeah, that's true.
And now when you're standing in a club, everybody's here in your fucking face.
Yeah.
I really enjoy that. You can smell it. You can taste it.
Yeah. And I mean, of course, festivals are fun, big stage are beautiful because I think in a kind of way you can see all of what all of you created, people there all for you, coming for you. That's a good satisfaction for yourself, I think.
Yeah, of course, but The Haunted is a club band, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We do best in smaller venues.
Yeah.
Because that's where the band was born.
Yeah.
And I sometimes find it a bit hard to be on a big stage and really not know what to do.
It's because
we bring equipment for a small show, and there's a big stage, and it just looks like it looks really funny sometimes when you have our little speakers and the stage is huge.
But then, of course, I think, you know, it's kind of always in between because when you're traveling all in Europe, all around the world, you don't know what venue you can expect sometimes.
No.
Sometimes you have the smaller, the creepiest, the most eclectic ones, or just the formal, you know, just the stage.
Yeah.
That's it. So sometimes when you get the weirdest one, I think are the best one. I think you should have an amazing memories on touring with that also, because like, and of course like also growing up, Marco, did you? Because of course we talk about, you mentioned kind of a hardcore, and also Slayer, you mentioned kind of tribute band.
Yeah.
But which was the actual, like literally like the first, I don't know, vinyl, tape, cassette, everything that you pick and said, this is fucking shit I want to do. This I want to do. So, which was the first one?
I actually, when I was 13, I got an album by Iron Maiden,
Okay.
Peace of Mind.
Okay.
I got it for Christmas. And I also got a Maiden Japan shirt and a stud belt, I remember. And I forced my grandfather to listen to it. And he was suffering the whole way through. But I got it on vinyl and I was so proud of it. And I probably listened to it until I couldn't listen to it anymore. But yeah, that was the first experience that, okay, this is kind of fun. But then when we started our first punk rock band in high school, that's when I realized that doing this with a bunch of my friends, and we all have the same idea and the same goal, and we actually create stuff together.
Exactly.
That was awesome. Because I was only used to come up with bad shit and destroy stuff.
Yeah.
So creating stuff was actually a revelation for me. It's like, oh man, you can do this with a bunch of your friends and not do that with a bunch of your friends.
But that's what I mean. I think also today is on us, like a bunch of friends that are creating something like new, composing.
That's the best thing in the world right now. You're in your 50s. You get to travel the world with 4 of your best friends, and sometimes doing really childish stuff. It's fantastic.
It's normal. I mean, just imagine if you were with stranger and people you hate. We're like, what the fuck? Just I want to say, thank you, like with headphones. Not, I mean, like it's.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands that have it like that.
Yeah.
And we don't. We have, because that's the thing that we decided in the beginning when we put this band back together, was that the key word here is fun. As long as it's fun, we're going to do it. As long as it becomes a must, that's when we have to sit down and start discussing, because something went wrong.
Yeah, because the last album before Song of Last Resort was in 2017.
Yeah.
So Strength in Numbers. So there is a kind of a gap that could be due for several reasons. Also, we had that horrible thing in 2020. So that I think played.
Yeah. And that also had a little part in it. But the biggest part of us not doing anything throughout those years was, sorry.
Yeah,
the thing is that we don't really live in the same city or anything anymore. It's just me and Ola live in Stockholm, and Jonas lives like a 3-hour drive away, and so does Jensen. And Adrian, he lives in London.
It's not easy.
So the only time that we really get together is when we're doing shows. And every time we got together to do a show, we all get excited about making a new album.
Really?
But it just never turns out to anything. So, and then the pandemic came and life got in the way and blah, blah, blah. So last year we met up and we just decided, okay, enough with the fucking bullshit. Let's make this album now, because there's actually people that paid money for us to make an album and we haven't made it yet.
And so, I think there is a fan asking for it.
Yeah, so once we decided, like really decided, and everybody was on board, it took about 3-4 months to write the whole thing.
Okay, so less time. That's maybe like so next time you're like, you know what? We're gonna wait 2 years, and then in half of the years, in 3 months, album is done.
Yeah, but the thing is that we have this Dropbox.
Okay.
And that Dropbox is full of like 8 years worth of songs.
Okay.
For this album, and none of them were used. Everything was all new material.
So you got a folder on Dropbox with music, with music that was supposed to be in the album, but at the end
None of it was used. It was
So
gone.
you kind of write everything down, and I think, and it's not a bad thing, because if you think about it, the old song can contain the energy kind of period that was COVID, all things of the past. Yeah. What you wrote now is something fresh, something of now. So on the present, the moment, with a new energy.
Yeah, and The Haunted has always been about aggression and adrenaline with finesse. But this time around, the only thing that we talked about when writing this album was that we're going to make it an aggressive album. And once we started writing lyrics on different parts of Sweden and stuff, we didn't have like a theme. Okay, this album is going to be about this or this or this. But when we came back together and presented the ideas to each other, it turned out that we were all writing about the same thing.
Okay. That was
which is this fucking world that we now have to live in.
Yeah, I mean, no matter in which country we are, when we turn our head on life, wherever there is a fucking mess. Could be war.
So it's very hard to ignore. So that's why this whole album turned out to be about our current situation. Even though we've never been a political band, nor will we ever be.
But
it's just really hard to ignore.
I think it can apply for everyone. I think it can apply for any type of situation, because, for example, I was just reading the title to it, and it came to me an episode that happened in my town. I mean, I'm in Sicily already. We have a past of of mafia and mafia. That's it. But we are in 2025 with there is not. I'm not in Texas that we have weapon like 3 kids. 20 years old, they were 19. They went in a small village, a small town, beautiful historical town, with a fucking scooter, and they started to shoot and kill 3 guys of 20 years old. And when they took their guns, that's a fucking carnage. That's literally killing. And I went there last time, and you can see, like the red circle with the bullet. It's almost seems like a ghost town, and it's happening not every day but it's something even in your own town. It seems like to be the far west.
Yeah, that's the really big thing in Sweden now. It's happening almost every week. 15-year-old kids killing 15-year-old kids.
What's going on in the new generation? So
I don't know. It's crazy.
I mean, just use this album to open their mind. Like fucking. Maybe they need to channel the anger towards something. Maybe we were just in the street when we were kids, like our parents were like, out.
Yeah, but the thing is that the kids don't do sports anymore. They don't put bands together. They just sit on internet and get filled up with stupid shit.
So that's So that's why I think that also Songs of Last Resort, because the meaning of the title, meaning like Songs of the Last Resort, how would you, in your own word, explain this kind of meaning? Because of course, I think I got it. Any one of us can perceive the title in our own way.
The Songs of Last Resort is actually pretty much when you're backed into a corner and you have to fight. So these are my final words.
Yeah, this
kind of thing.
No, and also the titles are really. I like the titles of the song because, of course, we can. The album is out, so that's one positive thing. We can throw the lyrics out. Like I really like Labyrinth of Lies, because we are so filled up of lies. There is literally a labyrinth. I'm not a people. I'm not a people person. I'm really like an hermit. So stay by myself. But when you go in the society, you see like literally it's almost a labyrinth of people, but that's lies around it also. I could have feel that with my
nobody is able even if they tried to tell you the truth.
To tell you the fucking shit in your face. Like I don't like it. I don't like it.
I live in the middle of the forest. I don't want people around me.
My God, that's my dream. I mean, you and your wife have the best life. There's no one. You can do whatever you want. You can stay by yourself. You can stay by just silent. And also when the evening comes, there's silence.
Yeah, because when I get home and I close the car door, I can hear the silence.
that I like that, and you can stay. And one thing that I think is also really important: stay with your own thoughts in
Yeah,
silence, and
yeah,
don't fight them, because people, you know, like they start to just, I don't know. It's okay sometimes escaping. It's okay, but sometimes people escape all the time, and we never face the mind.
yeah,
So thank you for saying that, because for me it's really important. I'm alone. If we stay in silence, you don't hear nothing because I'm alone. So there is completely silence.
yeah,
And this is important because you learn also to live through the suffering when you are living
yeah.
through the suffering.
And the
So
thing is, we live in the up north of the world, and we don't have this need for human contact as much as the people that live in the south. So we actually, when we did a US tour once, we had this tour manager that started crying because she thought that we were angry with her.
no.
But the thing is that we are men from the north. We can go 2 or 3 days without even talking to each other. We can just sit in comfortable silence, enjoy each other's company in silence.
Yeah.
And there's a nod or something, but we don't talk. We can sit and
No, yeah.
we can have silent conversations with our eyes.
I think, yeah, I think it's something that is true because uh, uh, France coming also from the like Finland, something they came to Sicily, for example, or Belgium, whatsoever. They always say something about Italians and Sicily. It's not just to say like we are like that, but I got that from a we are dramatic people. Like we love
Yeah,
drama.
yeah. We up in north, we're not about drama.
I don't
We're
know.
about silence.
I don't want drama. And people sometimes ask me, you know, like friends, so-called friends, are you in Sicily? I don't know because I don't go out. I don't like the city, the venue. You know, I
Yeah,
don't like that. I hear the scene is oh, it's terrible, terrible scene we have in Sicily. So I just stay in my own house. Then I fly, and then I go also in the northern country. That's my next goal.
yeah, because I see you have Vägvisor
Yeah,
on your shoulder.
yeah. I mean, for me, the perfect place is the North Lapland. There,
Yeah,
completely up north. That's why I
yeah,
applied for working there
yeah,
in winter, because what they do is that people from the south, of course, they won't go to work in the north because it's too cold. So better for me, more option.
yeah,
Don't care what I
yeah.
do, I have to fly away from here because here is fucking toxic. And when you're filled of shit of people and everything, and then you get the anger that probably can came also as a release. People, I think, can use songs of the last resort as a release for anger. That's
It becomes because you get frustrated with
yeah,
everything around you. So yeah, and that's it's better than to hit people to just
oh, that's
scream.
yeah. Also going like literally like because sometimes also when you listen to an album, it's like when you were listening, for example, we were listening to Slayer, all this anger. The anger.
Mm.
It's not that it was an anger shouting like for making okay for mosh pit. It's beautiful. It's fun. But when you're in your home in silence and listening to the album, listening to this type of music, it helps you literally
Yeah,
to
it does.
because the anger goes in here, so you have to let it go. And of
And
course,
I actually,
yeah,
I actually discovered a band. I was a late bloomer to this band, but it's a band that it's not metal.
okay,
It's just a band that everybody claims are metal, but they're not. They write fantastic music, brave music, and fantastic lyrics. And I'm totally in love with them. And it's Sleep Token. I am totally in
okay.
love with them.
Yeah, they said that they are kind of transformed, I think, the music, how the way of music has been doing.
Yeah. And the
Yeah,
thing is that they're being brave because they don't let themselves be constrained by anything. If they want to write R&B song, they do that.
yeah. I mean, why
And
they also can't do the
the
same?
lyrics are fucking amazing.
But I mean, I think the author can do the same if they want to. Yeah, I think you're not restricted. You can just put out there because, of course,
Yeah.
as a sound wise, what is the major? Because after 2017 until now, it's almost 8, 7, 7. I don't know. I'm bad in math. Let's say 6 years,
Yeah.
7 years. So, what is the biggest change we can see in this album from the last one, of course?
The biggest change I would say is that all the main songwriters are back
Okay.
in the whole process, because the two previous albums were really good albums that we were really, really proud of, but not everybody, because few guys had other projects that they were doing and stuff, so not everybody's heart was like super in it. So this time around, everybody was like really excited, and we're all in it. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, Deonted is fully back. There's full effort in it, full investment in this album.
Yeah,
but
most definitely. Yeah.
There was a song, like one or two songs in his album that you had really fun doing that.
I'd say that the song Warhead, because we were all really, really excited the first time we heard it, like in a demo. And once it got vocals on it, it got even more exciting. And that was like the song that pretty much set the theme for, okay, all the other songs that we have now needs to be turned up to 11.
Okay, so if you would like to say to the first, let's say that there are teenagers starting to get to know the band today, and say, okay, start with the song of Last Resort, start with the opening tracks.
Yeah, most definitely, because The Haunted to 2025 is very much defined by the songs of Last Resort, and the song Warhead, it pretty much sets the pace for what the whole album is about.
Of course, I mean, the album, of course, is available. I mean, streaming platform, we know.
Yeah.
But there are physical copy, I guess, physical copy that are like...
Yeah, it's gonna be released on vinyl, CD, and cassette.
Those are always, cassettes are always something, vinyls are beautiful, I love vinyls, but I think cassette is something more DIY, you know, like more like the time that you were playing in the Bombshell with all this band, and I was probably, I don't know, in some fucking, because we had garage in the middle of the city, dirt, there was a messy, it was the hardcore scene, the DIY scene, the underground scene. And then I think,
absolutely.
And also you have an upcoming live show, like in festival, because now it's a festival season.
Yeah, we missed out on the festival season this year because you know, all the festivals are booked like they close the gates. There's a new, so we missed out on the festivals this year. We're gonna do one on Friday in Germany, and then we're gonna do like one-off shows and pretty much just use this year to test the waters a bit.
Yeah, because I'm seeing that because it's you're gonna tour in late 2025.
Yeah, in Sweden,
in Sweden, you're gonna tour there, and of course you're gonna perform the songs of the last album. And I think
what
I said that you're gonna perform the song of the last album with some other, I think.
Yeah. We're gonna, because it's 10 albums now, so it's pretty hard to put the set list together.
I mean, yeah.
So and you have like 1 hour 15 minutes. So it's hard because everybody wants their songs.
Yeah.
When you look at the audience and you can tell that, okay, this was her or his song. You can tell in their face when you play that song. So it's hard to put. But I guess we're gonna do like 3 or 4 songs of the new album, and then we have to see if we need to rehearse a few more.
A little bit, you know, like, of course. But I mean, I think maybe in 2025 is gonna be time for an European tour also.
Yeah.
So it's gonna, let's say that this 2020 winter, something autumn, and 2026 is gonna be a touring time now.
Probably, yeah, or at least a lot of festivals, and because we are in a blessed place right now that we can actually pick and choose what we want.
Yeah, that you got your own.
Yeah, because it's not about, we don't have to do this for a living anymore.
Yeah.
We do it because it's fun. Yeah. So if there's something that makes sense and it doesn't pay that good, doesn't matter. We're going to do it.
Yeah.
Because it looks like fun. So that's why we're going to do it. So yeah.
And that's a
because we all have jobs and families and stuff now. So it's not about that anymore. The bills are getting paid anyway.
No, that's a beautiful point of seeing that. Just we are gonna do that because we want to, not because we have to. Because
Yeah.
you have to get. I mean, you're a good, well-established band. I mean, you can take your time to decide what you want to do. You have your.
Yeah, most definitely.
I mean,
And that's why we always talk about quality before quantity.
yeah, it's true. It's true. So I mean, let's say that at least the people now can have fun, can literally enjoy the song "The Last Resort," feeling
Yeah.
it, putting the headphone, listen beginning to the end, not just jumping between like they do all the
Yeah,
time.
most definitely.
And of course, it was really a pleasure meeting you, Marco. And if in the 2026 whatsoever you're gonna be around Italy, I'm definitely gonna join.
I would love to go to Sicily. I would
That's
really, really
beautiful.
love to see Sicily. I've never been.
It's beautiful, but it's still really different. I mean, I think the Haunted people here from the metal scene would love to see have the Haunted here, because here we have a little bit of a from the thrash extreme scene. We don't have kind of a heavy metal. It's just going to the extreme side. So just imagine. So that would be we have a good venues there too, but it's not good the organization. So let's say maybe spreaded, or just one thing that I said all the time would be amazing. People from all Italy just put together, you know, especially from the south, and do a good festival.
Yeah.
But I think what is missing is unity. I think that's it. So I mean, it would be more probably me for being in I don't know, Lapland or somewhere around Finland. For sure.
Yes, maybe.
It was really a pleasure, and have a good evening. Greetings to
You
your
too.
wife. She seems an amazing woman, and enjoy it. Thank you so much, Marco. It was really a pleasure and an honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, take care, man.
There's no more retreat. We'll tear you down, death to the ground.